1, 2, 3, now!
This car to drive to work to pay for this car. Car to drive to work, drive to work.
Welcome to Yellow Brick Road. I am Jordan, and today we have some breaking news about Julian Assange and Donald Trump and I guess Russia. But first, please consider donating to Devon's Journey to Recovery. The GoFundMe link is in the description box. If you have $5 or more laying around, you want to donate to a charity, you can at Devon's Journey to Recovery. GoFundMe link in the description box. Donate, motherfuckers. All right. So, I guess we have breaking news that Julian Assange was offered a pardon by the Trump administration if he proved that it wasn't Russia that hacked the DNC, or Russia didn't have anything to do with election meddling. And here we go. I'm not saying that's what it is. I'm saying that's the headlines going out there. So I'm going to use my dumb guyness, my dumb guy logic, and just go through this. And then I'll start saying, I guess, my opinion on what I think is going to happen. All right, so going right to Wikileaks, their Twitter page. It says chronology. Chronology. There it is. Chronology matters. Fucking words. The meeting and the offer were made 10 months before Julian Assange had already independently stated Russia was not the source of the DNC publication. The witness statement is one of the many bombshells from the defense to come. So you can kind of see what and why WikiLeaks are putting this out there now. So I'm going to go into it. And here's what they're referring to. This is from The Guardian. Donald Trump offered Julian Assange a pardon if he denied Russia a link to hack. Yeah, a little editorial shit going on there. But let's read this. Donald Trump offered Julian Assange a pardon if he would say Russia was not involved in leaking Democratic Party emails, a court in London has been told. The extraordinary claim was made at Westminster Magistrates Court before the opening next week of Assange's legal battle to block attempts to extradite him to the U.S. Assange's barrister, Edward Fitzgerald, referred to evidence alleging that the former U.S. Republican Congressman, Dana Rohrabacher, had been to see Assange, now 48, while he was still in the Ecuadorian embassy in August 2017. We'll have more about that guy, about Rohrabacher. Assange appeared in court on Wednesday by video link from Belmarsh Prison, wearing dark tracksuit bottoms and a brown jumper over a white shirt. A statement from Assange's lawyers, Jennifer Robinson, shows Mr. Rohrabacher going to see Mr. Assange and saying, on instructions from the president, he was offering a pardon or some other way out if Mr. Assange said Russia had nothing to do with the DNC leaks. Fitzgerald told Westminster Magistrates Court. District Judge Vanessa Barrister, who is hearing the case at Westminster, said the evidence is admissible. Now, the reason why that statement's important is because, alright, I believe, as far as I understand, Julian Assange's case in regards to extradition doesn't have anything to do with the 2016 election or the DNC leaks or any of that. right? I believe it's about the Iraq Chelsea Manning stuff, which was years ago, years before that election. But the reason why it would be admissible, I think, I'm not an expert or a lawyer or anything like that, but just using dumb guy logic, I believe that if Julian Assange is being prosecuted for extradition, and the only reason he's not like, or the only reason they're going after him is for political reasons, in the sense of, like, oh, you were supposed to tell everyone that, you're supposed to prove it with evidence that Russia had no involvement in these DNC hacks and whatnot, and then you get a pardon, right? That's the deal they're saying was there, offered by the White House. And once again, if the only reason Julian is on trial right now is because he didn't do that, he didn't expose his own sources for the sake of proving it wasn't Russia, like, oh, now he's being prosecuted, right? So I guess they would call that quid pro quo or some shit like that. But right now I'm going to play a video clip of the Dana Rohrabacher guy, former U.S. Republican Congressman Dana Rohrabacher, who I guess visited Julian Assange in 2017. Here we go.
Key to determining whether or not the Russians actually hijacked the election by working with Donald Trump, by hacking into the Democratic National Committee. The secret of disproving that is to say who did. And Julian Assange has, when I met with him, repeatedly told me that the Russians were not involved at all.
Congressman Rohrabacher, who met with Assange.
Now, real quick, Assange has been saying it before this meeting, right? Right, we have that right here, according to Wikileaks. According to Wikileaks, Assange said that Russia had nothing to do with this, that it wasn't a state actor. And he said this 10 months before this meeting took place, that they're confirming happened, obviously.
In London last month had a detailed phone conversation on Wednesday with the most important White House official in the Trump administration about Assange and the evidence he's offering.
I have talked to senior people at the White House, but as you know, the Wall Street Journal is reporting today that I had an extended conversation with the Chief of Staff at the White House, General Kelly, who's now the Chief of Staff, who is a very good man. Somebody leaked that whole conversation, and the Wall Street Journal has the whole thing.
I asked Rohrabacher whether there would be some kind of pardon deal in return for the evidence he says would exonerate the Trump campaign from charges it colluded with Russia by providing the leaked material. What is Assange asking for in return for this?
That's all confidential, and we're gonna. It's a confidential now interaction with myself and the White House to determine what can be offered.
Rohrabacher.
All right. So he's basically saying he was in contact with, I believe his name's John Kelly, or General Kelly, Chief of Staff dude. I'm not an expert, forgive me. But what I'm hearing is the Kelly dude blocked it because it could be considered as a quid pro quo. So they had to block any type of deal being done there. And that's according to fuckboy Jack Posobiec. Neocon fuckboy Jack Posobiec. Which, he can still have correct information. In which case, it's sort of, it takes it out of the evidence realm and puts it in the, the who knows realm, right? It almost turns into like Ukraine Gate, where it's like, what were his intentions with his phone call? Because you can almost read it as a business deal. And these type of dudes like Donald Trump and people like that they're talking to lawyers all the time about how to do certain things so that they won't get in trouble, right? It's not righteousness, it's just lawyer bullshit. So that leads me to, you know, what I think is going on and what I think is going to happen. It's like, all right. So for WikiLeaks and Assange's part, I believe this is a way to, you know, to knock down the merits of his extradition and his trial and all of that. Like, oh, this is all for bullshit political purposes. And I assume, based on WikiLeaks record and Assange's record, they're going to prove that this Rohrabacher guy actually did say this in a meeting with Julian Assange. Like, okay. But they need something else. They need to prove that Rohrabacher was in contact with Kelly or Trump directly, and that those guys were willing to pardon him if Assange if he proved that it wasn't Russia, right? Now, the mainstream news is going to obviously twist that around and say Trump knew it was Russia, and he wants Julian Assange to falsify evidence to prove that, or to show that it had nothing to do with Russia, so that Trump would be exonerated. It's like, I think that's bullshit. You know, deep state narrative. That's all bullshit, I think. What I think is Donald Trump did consider pardoning Julian Assange if he proved that it wasn't Russia who hacked the emails and whatnot, the DNC emails. And the only reason he would want to do that is to just clear any type of doubt that, you know, he's innocent, right? Just further proof that he's innocent of any of the Russia nonsense, and so that they can't do anything to him, right? Because as I just said before, with the lawyer talk and all that shit, you can convict innocent people. That's, yeah. With the laws and all this shit, and the dumb people using them, you can convict innocent people. So I believe Trump wanted to leave no doubt, which would mean you'd want further evidence that he is innocent of colluding with Russia or whatever. So that's his part. And the Assange part is to clear his name, as to say, well, help further clear his name by saying that the Trump administration drawing up the extradition charges are just a political maneuver, you know, all for political reasons, because he wouldn't just go out and prove that it wasn't Russia to help Trump out. I believe that's what I believe. So, yeah. So, yeah, we do have this here. Just want to show this real fast. The meeting and the offer were made prior to Assange's indictment. If you really want to know what this is about, tune in to court on Tuesday, February 25th, which is 6 days away. So I guess next Tuesday is when I guess a bomb's going to drop from WikiLeaks. Like, the dude's in jail and still fucking people up. But, yeah. I believe, here's what I believe. Once again, this is all, I probably sound, everything I'm saying sounds confusing because I suck at putting a good narrative together. But I'll just try and lay it out one more time. I believe Assange was offered a deal through this Dana Rohrabacher guy. You know, not a deal like officially a deal, but a deal as in, like, hey man, you can get pardoned for this if you just prove it's not Russia. There's a good chance you'll be pardoned if you do this. You know, lawyer shit, so that people keep themselves out of trouble. So I believe that happened in that meeting. I believe WikiLeaks and Assange have proof of that. Assange's lawyers have proof of that, and they're going to show that in the courtroom that this Rohrabacher guy, in whatever amount of words, offered Assange a pardon, claiming to be someone who's going through the White House, which I believe he was in contact with, to say, okay, you can get pardoned if you prove that it wasn't Russia that hacked the DNC. And then the Trump part, which is, once again, lawyer talk, trying to say, oh, in so many words, it's like we're gonna pardon you, but without saying it directly, and going through like a go-between, which is, to Kelly, to Rohrabacher, saying it through them, but not really saying it. And also, there won't be any proof of that Rohrabacher directly got instructions from the Trump administration to do this, right? They won't have that evidence, which will prove that Rohrabacher was speaking to Assange on behalf of the White House, that we will pardon you if you do this thing, which will keep Trump in the clear. And then he'll turn it into something else. It's essentially, as far as public perception, it's a boy who cried wolf situation, because Trump fans are going to be like, here we go again, another Russiagate. Meanwhile, it's like, as far as I understand, WikiLeaks has been considered credible, right? And Julian Assange has been considered credible as far as things he said out loud, right? Now, obviously there's mistakes, but when they put down straight up information and evidence of things, that's been considered 100% legitimate. But the Trump fans will look at this and say, oh, Russiagate. Or what's going on with Assange? Who's he working for now? What's he doing? Right? Because they're not in it for what's actually happening. They're in it for, how do I twist this around to make sure that Trump looks like the winner and the good guy here. Right? Now, for me personally, I'd be like, if I was Trump, I'd be like, you're getting pardoned regardless. That means there's no quid pro quo behind it. You are getting pardoned regardless of what happens. But can you prove that this wasn't Russia? And I guess we'll see what he has. Or if he does show that, because it might be, might be hurting a source if he did that, or exposing a source, which I believe he does not want to do. But yeah, Trump's he's not a good guy. He's not an honest guy like that. So I think he was looking for a deal in order to help himself out. Deal fell through. So he's like, fuck that guy. Let's draw up extradition. Let's fuck with this guy's life. Because he doesn't give a shit about him. Let's be honest with you. All right, there's no righteousness in Donald Trump's actions. No righteous motives behind it. So I could easily see this scenario happening. All right. Hopefully I said something that made sense. What's that word I was looking for? I couldn't say. First words I'm speaking and I fuck it up. What's this? Oh, look at this. This is like new. It's a retweet from WikiLeaks. Get the story right. Trump silent on extradition. Then he tried to coerce Assange when that failed. The U.S. What? When that failed, the U.S. indicted. Okay. That's interesting. Because I know these fucking WikiLeaks dudes like to talk in codes as well. They'll do like symbolism and stuff. Like, oh, something's coming out. Here's a little clue. So them retweeting this would be considered very important. Trump silent on extradition. Then he tried to coerce Assange. When that failed, U.S. indicted. That might change things for me, in my mind, right? Just dumb guy logic, just dumb guy looking at this shit. It's like, do they have evidence that directly, ties Rohrabacher to the Trump administration? Do they have direct evidence there? Because I was saying this to James when this story was breaking, and I'm like, it's like, WikiLeaks moves in a different way, so if someone comes to them and says, I'm speaking on behalf of the White House, basically, they want to pardon you as long as you do this thing. It seems like an organization like WikiLeaks or a person like Julian Assange would be like, prove that you're working with the White House. Prove it. And then we'll talk. Not that they're going to take the deal, but just to, just to have the evidence with us. It's like, hey, man. So, fuck, my whole theory could be wrong. They might actually have evidence that the Rohrabacher guy was in direct contact with the White House, and was talking about this particular thing. Yeah. Chronology. Fucking word. Chronology. So that's very interesting. That's interesting. I just saw that now, so you got my live reaction to that. It's like, I wonder if they have something. Because they might look at it like, you're the one drawing up these papers and extraditing me and all that shit, right? Wasn't Obama like, just let it fucking go? As far as like on the surface, like, fuck it, let it go, whatever. So it's like, this is not happening under the Trump administration. So, Trump fans, you're in kind of a strange place right now, because I'm sure this is probably such a big story that Trump is going to have to campaign rally on it and talk about it and shit. And he's going to crap on Julian Assange, the guy that you guys probably used to look at as a hero because of all the exposing he's done and his organization has done. So where do you stand now? Is Assange working for the DNC now? He's working for the deep state because he's trying to hurt Trump. Or is Trump just a douchebag? He's probably a douchebag, just to be honest with you. Alright, that's it for me. Please subscribe if you like, comment, agree, disagree. Tell me, send me information. Like I said, you'll probably tell by the way I'm talking about this. I'm kind of lost, but there's some sort of picture forming in front of me. Alright. Don't forget to donate. Devon's Journey to Recovery GoFundMe link in the description box. With all that said, give this video a thumbs down.
Say you wanna get in.